A 12-year-old black billionaire walks onto a plane with a valid first-class ticket, but when a man sees her, he says those four words: "You don't belong here." He made one big mistake. He had no idea who her father was, but she pulled out her phone, made one call, and the entire plane turned back. Millionaires gasped. The airline panicked. Hit like and subscribe Black Visionaries right now, because you need to know who she called. 12-year-old Amara Williams settled into her first-class seat, 1A, the best seat on the Boeing 777, headed from New York to London. Her father had paid for it before he passed away. Actually, he'd left her his entire business empire. But nobody on this plane knew that the young black girl in the simple, vibrant, coral orange dress had inherited a fortune worth $2.3 billion. "Excuse me, you're in my seat." Amara looked up to see a middle-aged white man in an expensive suit towering over her, his face twisted in annoyance. His silver cufflinks caught the cabin light as he jabbed his finger at her seat. "I don't think so," Amara replied calmly, holding up her printed boarding pass. "Seat 1A. That's me." The man barely glanced at the ticket in her hand. "There's obviously been a mistake. A child like you couldn't afford first class. Where are your parents? You probably belong back there." He gestured dismissively toward economy. Amara's jaw tightened, but she kept her voice steady, mature beyond her years. She gripped her boarding pass tighter. "Sir, this is my seat. I have my ticket right here. I'm a Platinum Elite member," he interrupted loudly, drawing attention from other passengers. "I fly this route every week. I always sit in 1A. Now, where's the adult who's supposed to be supervising you? This is ridiculous." But he didn't wait. He'd already pressed the call button. Within seconds, a flight attendant named Sarah approached with a professional smile that faltered when she saw the situation. The man immediately launched into his complaint, his voice dripping with entitlement. "This girl is in my seat. I need her moved immediately. I have an important meeting in London, and I can't have my flight disrupted by an unaccompanied child who clearly doesn't belong in first class. Where's her guardian?" Sarah turned to Amara with an apologetic but firm expression. "Miss, may I see your boarding pass?" Amara handed over the ticket she'd been clutching, her hand steady despite the anger building in her chest. She'd been here before, different situation, same prejudice. Being 12, black, and traveling alone made people assume she didn't belong in spaces of luxury. Sarah examined the boarding pass, then checked her tablet. Her eyebrows furrowed. "Miss Williams, I see your boarding pass says 1A, but our system is showing that this seat was reassigned to Mr. Peterson here. He's one of our elite members. Also, honey, are you traveling with an adult? I don't see a guardian listed." "I'm traveling alone," Amara said quietly, her voice more mature than her years suggested. "I have all the proper unaccompanied minor documentation, and there was no error on my end with the seat. I checked in online 12 hours ago. I selected this specific seat." Mr. Peterson crossed his arms triumphantly. "See, the system corrected the mistake. Now, if you'll excuse me." He moved to brush past Amara to take the seat. "Sir, please wait," Sarah said, holding up a hand. She looked uncomfortable now, caught between an elite member and what appeared to be a glitch in the system. "Miss Williams, I'm very sorry for the confusion. We have a lovely seat available in Economy Plus. I paid for first class." Amara interrupted, her voice still calm, but with an edge of steel. "I'm not moving to economy when I have a valid boarding pass for this seat." Other first-class passengers were watching now, some with sympathy, others with thinly veiled agreement with Mr. Peterson. A woman across the aisle whispered to her husband, "She does seem awfully young for first class." Mr. Peterson's voice rose. "Look, I don't have time for this. I'm a Platinum Elite member with over 2 million miles. Whatever discount ticket she bought doesn't override my status. Sarah, I want this handled now." The lead flight attendant, Michael, had been radioing the cockpit. He approached Amara with a tight smile. "Miss Williams, I'm going to have to ask you to take another seat. We're already delayed, and we need to push back from the gate. We can sort this out once we're in the air." Amara looked at the faces around her, judgment, impatience, dismissal. She could feel the familiar sting of being made invisible, made small, made wrong simply for existing in a space others thought she didn't deserve. "Give me 1 minute," Amara said, pulling out her phone. Mr. Peterson scoffed. "Oh, what are you going to do? Call your mommy?" Amara ignored him, her fingers moving across the screen. She dialed a number she rarely used, her direct line to Richard Chun, CEO of Skyward Airlines, the very airline they were currently sitting on. It rang twice. "Amara." Richard's voice came through, surprised. "Is everything okay?" "Richard, I'm on flight 2847 from JFK to Heathrow. I'm being removed from my first-class seat because a platinum member decided he wants it more, and your crew is backing him up." There was a sharp intake of breath on the other end. "What? Which flight did you say?" 2847, seat 1A. Still at the gate." "Don't move. I'm handling this right now." "And Amara, I'm so sorry." The call lasted 30 seconds. Amara put her phone away and looked up at Sarah and Michael, who were both staring at her with confusion. "I suggest you check with your cockpit," Amara said simply. Michael's radio crackled to life. His face went from annoyed to confused to absolutely pale in the span of 10 seconds as he listened to the message from the captain. Sarah's tablet pinged with an urgent message, and as she read it, her eyes went wide. "Mr. Peterson," Michael said, his voice suddenly very different, tight, professional, worried. "I need you to step into the galley with me. Now." "What?" "No, I'm not going anywhere until she." "Now, sir." Michael's tone left no room for argument. As Mr. Peterson was led away, still protesting, the captain's voice came over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Rodriguez. We're going to be experiencing a slight delay. We ask for your patience as we resolve a seating matter. We'll have an update for you shortly." In the galley, Michael and Sarah were having a very different conversation with Mr. Peterson and a stern-looking woman in an airline uniform who just boarded, Jennifer Walsh, the airport's customer service director. Jennifer spoke in a low, firm voice. "Mr. Peterson, do you know who you just tried to remove from her seat? Some girl who probably used miles or—" "That girl is Amara Williams. She's the principal investor in Skyward Airlines. She owns 18% of this company. She's the granddaughter of tech pioneer James Williams and the founder of Williams Ventures. At 23 years old, she's one of the youngest black billionaires in America." The color drained from Mr. Peterson's face. Jennifer continued. "She purchased that seat with her own money. Not that it matters, because she could buy this entire aircraft if she wanted to. Your elite status? Your 2 million miles? She's flown over 5 million miles on our airline in the past 3 years alone. And you just tried to have her move to economy." Back in the cabin, passengers were beginning to whisper. Phones were out, and someone had clearly Googled Amara's name because gasps were spreading through first class. Michael returned to the cabin, his face red with embarrassment and anger, not at Amara, but at the situation that should never have happened. "Miss Williams," he said formally, "on behalf of Skyward Airlines, I want to offer you our most sincere apologies. Your seat was never reassigned. There was no system error. Mr. Peterson requested your seat be changed, and someone in our gate staff complied without proper verification. This is completely unacceptable." The cabin was dead silent now. Every passenger was listening. "Mr. Peterson has been removed from this flight," Michael continued. "He's been banned from Skyward Airlines pending a full investigation. His Platinum Elite status has been revoked. Again, Miss Williams, we are deeply, deeply sorry for this experience." Amara nodded slowly. "I appreciate the apology, Michael. But here's what I want you to understand, and everyone listening should understand this too. I shouldn't have needed to make that phone call. I shouldn't have needed to be a billionaire or an investor for my valid boarding pass to be respected. Every passenger deserves to be treated with dignity, regardless of their age, their race, or how they're dressed." She looked around the cabin, making eye contact with the passengers who'd watched her humiliation. The problem isn't just one racist passenger. It's a system that assumed he was right and I was wrong before checking any facts. That needs to change. Michael nodded, visibly moved. "You're absolutely right, Miss Williams. And I promise you, this will be a training case for our entire airline." As the plane finally pushed back from the gate, 40 minutes late, Amara settled into seat 1A, the seat she'd paid for, the seat she deserved all along. Her phone buzzed with messages from Richard Chun, apologizing profusely and promising policy changes. But Amara was thinking about all the people who'd been in her position, but couldn't make that phone call. All the people who'd been humiliated and moved and made to feel small, with no power to fight back. That's why she'd recorded the entire encounter. That's why she'd be sharing it with her 5 million social media followers when they landed. And that's why Skyward Airlines would be implementing new anti-discrimination training and protocols, funded by a very generous donation from a very determined billionaire who refused to let this happen to anyone else. Sometimes justice comes from a single phone call, but real change, that takes work, visibility, and someone willing to use their voice and their power for everyone who's been silenced. The plane climbed into the clouds, and Amara smiled. The flight was just beginning, but the real journey toward change had already taken off. So what do you think? Should Mr. Peterson have been banned for life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, smash that like button and subscribe to Black Visionaries for more incredible stories of courage and justice. Remember, never judge someone by their appearance. You never know who you're talking to. See you in the next one.